Hello friends and beautiful people. So we are making elderberry syrup today. It's the time of year when Hubs and I try to take a tablespoon every morning just because. And now with all the cooties going around, I thought I would go ahead and do a video. This is primarily for my daughter because I'm going to ship her down some elderberries where she is and make sure that she's taking care of my grandson. So let's get started. Let me turn you over here to my pan. So what I have here, and we're making a double batch. So this is 7 cups of water. If you want to make just a single batch, just cut what I'm telling you in half. And to that, we're going to add from our elderberries that we harvested this year. These are all dehydrated. So we're going to do, again, it's double the recipe, and the recipe calls for 2/3 of a cup. So we're going to do that twice. Now, if you were using fresh elderberries, if you were just harvesting them and just putting fresh in, you're only going to want to use, you use 1 1/3 cup of fresh. So that's going to be doubling the recipe, 2 2/3 cups. All right. Let me grab a There we go. We're going to get these guys all going. All right, so we've got our elderberries in there. I love the smell of this. I actually love the taste of it. And I'm making a double batch because I will also take some of these over to Macedonian neighbor. He likes the flavor of it, so it's easier to get him to take it than it would be if it didn't have like fire cider. It's harder to get him to drink fire cider when I put that on him, but that's another story. He does put tiger's blood in this, and if you know what tiger's blood is, it's a product that is made with a still. All right, so we've got 7 cups of water. We've got 1 1/3 cups of dried elderberries. That's the double recipe. And now we're going to put in 4 tablespoons of grated ginger. And it is better if you have fresh grated than it is if you're using a spice. But you know, we don't have that option right now. So we're doing 4 tablespoons here. And basically what we're doing is we're adding everything to this recipe except for the honey. We'll add the honey in later. Pardon me for making a big loud pounding noise. Just got to get 1 more tablespoon out of there. And you can see how exact I am with my measurements. Not at all. My husband, it drives him crazy when I cook. All right, so we've got our ginger in there. And now we're going to add 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Whoops. Helps to grab the cinnamon, not the cloves. Alrighty. Rinse that out. Dry it off. And now we're going to add a teaspoon of cloves. And I forgot this one's a pain. Each one of these things that we're adding, we're not adding these for flavor. Each one of these spices that we're adding has a purpose. It has an immuno purpose to it. All right. So we've got our cinnamon and our cloves. We've got our elderberries and our water. And just to recap all of that, we're doing double batch, 7 cups of water, 1 1/3 cups of dried elderberries, which would be 2 2/3 cup if they were fresh. We've got 4 tablespoons of grated ginger, 2 teaspoons of cinnamon, and a teaspoon of ground cloves. Now what we're going to do is we are going to bring this to a boil. Once it starts to boil, I'm going to cover this and reduce the heat And I'm going to cook this for about 45 minutes to an hour, because what you want is you want this liquid to reduce by half. Remember, we're making a syrup here. Then we're going to remove it from the heat and let it cool until it's cool enough for us to handle it. And then after that, we're going to mash all those berries so that we get all of the goodness out of those, all the nutrition out of them, and all of the immuno properties out of them. So we'll just, and you can do that with a spoon or a flat utensil, however you want to do that. And then we're going to pour this through a strainer into a glass jar. And we're going to allow it to cool until it's just lukewarm. You don't want to add your honey when it's hot. You want it to be lukewarm. And then we're going to add our honey, stir it well, and pour it into mason jars. And so for this recipe, I want 2 cups of raw honey. And what's most important is that that is local honey. If you don't have bees, then you need to go out and get local honey. Local honey is a natural antibiotic for where you are. You don't want to can this, which is extremely important. You're going to lose all of the benefits of that honey if you can this. The honey's going to crystallize, and it's not going to be good. So, and this is good for like 6 months in the refrigerator. So we've got this in the pan. We're boiling it. We're going to put a lid on it, turn the heat down a little bit, and we're going to let this thing reduce for about 45 minutes to an hour. We're going to let it cool. Then we're going to mash the berries. Then we're going to pour it through a strainer, let it get down to lukewarm, add the honey, put it in mason jars, and put it in the fridge. I will post the recipe itself in the description of the video. But until next time, friends, be blessed and be a blessing. And hopefully this helps keep you well.